Most people have tried their hand at feeding birds, and if you have done that, you know that you've probably had to deal with squirrels. Squirrels get on those bird feeders and it just drives people bananas. And this video is going to explain how to set up a normal bird feeder, nothing fancy, none of these fancy, squirrel deterrents, but just a normal bird feeder using what we've learned over the last couple of years about the capabilities of squirrels, how to set them up in a way where the squirrels just can't get to them. It's not difficult. You just have to be pretty precise in your measurements and how you set it up, and I can almost guarantee it's going to keep the squirrels off. Now keep in mind, these are for cat squirrels, which we call down in Louisiana cat squirrels anyway. They're gray squirrels, the most prominent squirrel in North America. Now if you have all these other crazy squirrels, then I can't promise you that this is going to work. Our data is just for cat squirrels or gray squirrels, so I hope this will help y'all out. Now I understand some of you have these super squirrels at your places that normal physics just don't apply. So your squirrels with superpowers, this video is probably not for you, and I'm not sure what to tell you about hanging your bird feeders other than set up a video camera, start a YouTube channel, and how about we see these super squirrels that can jump 9 feet straight up the ground, onto a bird feeder. I've seen them with my own eyes. Well, how about let's see some video. So there's two different ways to set up bird feeders. Hanging from a tree by a rope or a wire or maybe a chain. And the second way is to hang a bird feeder from something that's mounted onto the ground, either a pole or some kind of flower hook or something like that. And the squirrels get on these bird feeders different ways, so we're going to look at them as kind of separate things, and the way you set them up and the measurements are going to be a little bit different between the two. So the first thing, let's look at the bird feeder that's mounted into the ground onto a hook. Okay, so the first way a squirrel is going to get on a pole-mounted bird feeder is jumping from the tree or a fence or anything that's close enough for them to get elevated on and jump horizontal. Okay, so we saw in a previous video, and I'll put a link down below, that a cat squirrel, the farthest I could get a cat squirrel to jump for his favorite food was 8 feet 6 inches. So to prevent a squirrel from jumping horizontally onto your bird feeder, you want to make sure that you are a minimum of 8 feet 6 inches, but let's give it a little bit of cushion. Let's say 9 feet. You want to have your bird feeder 9 feet or more from the closest vertical object that the squirrel can climb up and jump onto your feeder. 9 foot seems to be, or 8 foot 6. I couldn't get a squirrel to make it that distance. So let's do 9 foot, and I'm pretty comfortable that that's going to work. All right, so the next thing a squirrel is going to do is he's going to jump from the ground onto the bird feeder. And again, we've heard stories about the squirrel that jumped 9 feet straight up, from the ground. Well, after several months of data that we collected, we could not get a squirrel to even attempt to jump at 47 inches. So you're going to be safe at 48 inches. So what you want to do is make sure the bottom of your bird feeder is set to a minimum of 48 inches, and that should prevent a squirrel from jumping from the ground onto your bird feeder. I think you're going to be good to go, 48 inches. All right, so the last way a squirrel is going to get on your bird feeder is to climb up whatever your pole is, and other than greasing a piece of PVC or something, which is probably not real healthy for your birds, I've seen squirrels climb up PVC, metal posts, obviously wood, so there's not much you're going to be able to put up here that a squirrel can't shimmy up. So we've had great luck. We've never had a squirrel get by a single baffle mounted from the bottom. And you want to mount this about 3 foot up so he can't jump over it. But they don't seem to even attempt to do this. I don't know if it just looks funny to them or what, but for this setup, we've never ever had a squirrel get past this single baffle setup. So this is going to prevent your squirrel or squirrels from getting on your bird feeder from up the pole. Okay, so this is what a gray squirrel, cat squirrel proof bird feeder looks like. All right, so we are 9 foot from the closest vertical object that the squirrel can jump on, that the squirrel can jump from onto the bird feeder. We are 48 inches from the ground to the bottom of the bird feeder, and we are preventing him from coming up the pole with a single baffle. And this bird feeder has been out for 2 months now, and I've set the camera up, and we've never had a squirrel get on this bird feeder. But we're not just making this stuff up. This comes from a lot of data and a lot of videos that we've recorded trying to test the limits on the cat squirrel's capabilities. So we're comfortable that you know, almost a sure thing that this is going to keep the squirrels off your bird feeder. All right, so this is going to be about a feeder that's hanging from a limb or a branch or something like that. So 3 ways a squirrel is going to get on your feeder here. The first one, as your other one, you know, as the one that's ground mounted, is from the closest vertical object that they can climb up and jump from onto your feeder. So we want to make sure that it's set up at least 8 feet 6 inches, a little bit of cushion. Let's say we want to set up your bird feeder at least 9 foot from the closest vertical object. And there we go. That's going to prevent your squirrels from getting to your feeder from jumping vertical. All right, so again, like the pole-mounted feeder, we want to make sure that this feeder is a minimum of 47 inches, let's call it 48. We want to make sure it's at least 48 inches from the ground, bottom of the feeder to the ground, 48 inches, and that'll prevent them from jumping from the ground up on the feeder. All right, so here's our bird feeder that's hanging, and so you would think a single baffle above would do the trick, like the bird feeder that's standing up from a hook or something from the ground. But as we saw in a previous video, a single baffle does not work at all. They get past that single baffle pretty doggone frequently. So if you want to prevent your squirrel from shimmying down whatever you're hanging your bird feeder from, you have to use a double baffle with about a 3 foot span in between them. And we've used this now for also about 2 months, and we have not had a single squirrel make it past the double baffle method. And I believe in it. I think it's good. It works, and it sure is entertaining to see them try it. So there we go. Okay, so this is what our bird feeder that's hanging from a limb or a tree or something like this looks like. This is 100% squirrel proof. We have not had a squirrel get on this feeder yet. We are 4 foot from the ground, number one. We are 9 foot plus from the closest vertical object that the squirrel can jump from onto the feeder. And then I don't think it matters what you hang your feeder with. And this, you know, all this PVC and chain is from another video, another experiment. But I don't think it matters what you hang your bird feeder from, as long as you have a double baffle with about a 3 foot span in between them, and you are not going to have a squirrel that gets past that. So that's what the perfect squirrel-proof bird feeder looks like. That's hanging from a limb. Hope y'all enjoyed and got something out of this. We spent a lot of time and energy analyzing these squirrels' capabilities, and we had a lot of fun doing it. We had a lot of fun videos come out of it, and we'll leave the link to all of those below. But basically, we feel like we're leaving you with 2 different methods to protect your bird feeders from gray squirrels, and hope it works out for y'all. And if it doesn't, I want to see the video. All right, y'all have a good day. Bye-bye.